evening, everyone. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? It's low? Are you hearing me now? Okay. Good evening. Please stand for the playing of the national anthem of Jamaica. Thank you. You may be seated. Her Excellency Judith Slater, British High Commissioner to Jamaica, Miss Natalie Morris, JP, representing the Custos Rotolorum for the parish of St. James, the Honorable Conrad Pitkin, Councillor Richard Vernon, Deputy Mayor for the parish of St. James, representing His Worship, the Mayor of Montego Bay, Councillor Leroy Williams, Professor Dale Weber, Pro Vice Chancellor and Principal, the University of the West Indies Mona Campus, Dr. Patrick Prendergast, Campus Director, UA Mona Western Jamaica Campus, and Chair of the Conference Planning Committee, Mr. Tariq Ali, Resident Representative and General Country Manager, Caribbean Group, Inter-American Development Bank, Ms. Joan Dennis, Senior Project Manager, National Housing Trust, Mrs. Donna Howe, Managing Director, Jamaica Bauxite and Mining Limited, Mr. George Lee, CEO, St. James Municipal Corporation, Mr. Oral Heaven, President of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Robin Russell, President of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourism Association, Mr. Conrad Robinson, Regional Manager, JAMPRO, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the UA Mona WJC Advisory Board, staff and students of the UA Mona WJC, esteemed sponsors, media, ladies and gentlemen in the audience and those joining online, good evening. My name is Doreen Prendergast, and I'm your Master of Ceremony for this evening. I must say on behalf of Dr. Patrick Prendergast, the conference chairman, the conference planning committee, and the UA family on a whole, how happy we are to be here to officially open the second biennial Sustainable Cities Conference, GS2 2022, which runs from today, November 16, to Friday, November 18. And as I begin, I'm going to take the opportunity to reminisce a little. I recall that the first edition of this conference took place in 2020, right in the middle, and some people say smack in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown. And oh boy, the pushback that came with it was intense. I mean, how dare us host a conference in such a time as that? Well, guess what? With masks on face, sanitizer in hand, and all the protocols observed, the conference was held to a resounding success. And I surmise that the institutions and individuals who participated at that time were very happy to be liberated from the shackles of COVID-19, even if just for a moment. But more importantly, they were satisfied with the richness of the conference offerings and the outcome. So today, we carry forward that faith that propelled us in 2020. We embrace that boldness that undergirded our march forward, and we build on that resilience that sustained us as we host this GS2 2022 conference around the theme, Adaptability and Resilience, Technological Transformation Driving Change and Sustainability in Communities and Cities. It has long been established that cities are engines of economic growth. What happens in our cities significantly influences what happens elsewhere across our country. So if we get it right in our cities, we are well on our way to getting it right in our country. This 2022 conference is being held in a year when the World Urban Forum was held in Katowice, Poland, from June 26 to 30. And this provided a major platform to examine the challenges and to identify the opportunities that cities have to offer. This forum was held around the theme, Transforming Cities for a Better Urban Future. And of course, in concluding, it was agreed that the transformation of our urban futures is at the heart of sustainable development for this and future generations. This GS2 2022 conference is no different, just of a different scale and being hosted in a different geographic location, and I must say in the beautiful city of Montego Bay. But the purpose is the same, the sustainability of our communities and our cities. As such, consequent on the focus brought by the COVID-19 pandemic to the importance of technology to the sustainability of our communities and urban spaces, this conference will delve much deeper into this element as the UEMONA WJC continues to play its part in building the resilience of our communities and cities. I dare you to find your bold as the conference unfolds over the next 2 days. And so at this point in time, I will now invite Ms. Sandra Stubbs, librarian and conference lead for publications, to do the invocation. Let us welcome her.
Thank you, Madam MC. Ladies and gentlemen, the protocols having been established, can I invite you to once again be upstanding for the invocation? Eternal Father, from whom all blessings flow, we seek to enter your presence with thanksgiving for the opportunity to be able to meet again in this fashion for the second staging of the UEMONA Caribbean Sustainable Cities Conference. We thank you for all your mercies towards us and again invite your presence into all our deliberations for this opening session and for all our other sessions and activities. We especially ask you, Father, to bless all participants, presenters, sponsors, specially invited guests, and our GS2 Conference Planner-in-Chief, Dr. Patrick Prendergast and his team. We ask you to guide and give vision to the leaders of our cities and our communities. Lord, we seek your wisdom to plan for and achieve smart and safe and green cities. These and all other mercies we ask, thankful that you hear us, because we pray in faith believing through the name of your Son and our Redeemer, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Ms. Stubbs, for the invocation. At this point in our program, we will have the welcome and greetings. And we will begin with greetings by Professor Dale Weber, Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of the West Indies, Mona campus. This will be followed by, we begin with welcome from Ms. Natalie Morris, JP, representing the Custos Rotolorum for the Parish of St. James, the Honorable Bishop Conrad Pitkin. This will be followed by greetings from Professor Dale Weber, Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of the West Indies, Mona. And thereafter, Mrs. Donna Howe, Jamaica Bauxite and Mining Limited, will bring greetings as well. We'll then close out that section of the program with a video presentation. So please come forward in the order in which your name was called. Oh, Ms. Morris is not here. All right. All right, Ms. Natalie Morris isn't here at this time. So what I will do, I'll invite Professor Dale Weber, Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of the West Indies, Mona, to bring his remarks.
Thank you very much, Madam Master of Ceremonies. I noticed, Dr. Prendergast, that the family is well represented, and this is good. Her Excellency, Judith Slater, British High Commissioner, Mr. Richard Vernon, Dr. Prendergast, Mr. Ali, Ms. Dennis, presenters, guests, ladies and gentlemen, both here and online. I'm pleased to bring greetings at this, the second Caribbean Sustainable Cities Conference, in my capacity as Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of the West Indies, Mona campus. I wish to thank the Western Jamaica campus for having taken the step, the bold step, to reignite the passion that they have always wanted. Dr. Prendergast and his team set out to have a conference 2 years ago, as you've just heard, and it was under trying circumstances, but they succeeded and they lit a fire which today resulted in many of us wanting to be a part of that conference, now being a part of this conference. This theme, adaptability and resilience, technological transformation, driving change, and sustainability in communities and cities, is a theme that is forward-thinking, forward-looking, and highlights the centrality of digital technology as we make changes in our communities and our cities. This is especially relevant as we return from COVID, where we do need to do things in a different way. The conference helps us to focus on United Nations Sustainable Goals, incorporating the centrality of digital technology in good health and well-being, in sustainable cities and communities, in climate action, life on land, peace and justice, and I was so glad to see partnership because there are so many partners, and the Sustainable Development Goals help to lead us there. We would like to extend our appreciation to the UN for having given us the goal and given us a path, and their role in continued efforts in assisting Jamaica in meeting the holistic sustainable goals. I would like to thank our British High Commissioner to Jamaica, Mr. Asif Ahmed, our former Commissioner, and our current High Commissioner, Her Excellency Judith Slater, and the entire diplomatic corps, who by their role support the advancing of the Sustainable Development Goals. The conference also assists the UWI in that we have our own goals towards Vision 2030, building a digital transformation within the city that is the UWI. We want to make Jamaica a better place so that this is where we would like to live, raise families, and do business. The initiative also assists with our internal strategic plan, helping us achieve our goals of going green and going safe, as well as going smart. I would like to also thank the city of Montego Bay and the mayor and his team for hosting the event for the second time. Montego Bay is the tourism sector that supports the growth and development of sustainable cities, as they have proven here. The manner in which they have done this is effective, it's sustainable, it's a demonstration of resource management, and we'd like to thank our partners who have helped us in engaging Montego Bay as the city, which is the home of our Western Jamaica campus. I look forward to what we will encounter and engage over the next 2 days, especially the discussions as they relate to cities, education, crime, violence, digital transformation, and sustainability across all levels. It is my wish, my hope, my desire that as we engage the adaptability and resilience, we take it personally, not just individually, but collectively within our organizations, to make a difference, pledge to make that difference, and carry it forward. I wish you all the best for this conference and look forward to the next couple of days. Good evening.
Her Excellency, the British High Commissioner, Ms. Judith Slater, the Custos of Rotterdam of St. James, Bishop Conrad, the Mayor of Montego Bay, Richard Vernon, Dr. Patrick Predicres, the Chairman of the Conference Planning Committee, Custos of Trelawney, Mr. Tariq Ali, the IDB Representative Jamaica General Manager, and a warm welcome and a good evening to all other protocols observed. It gives me great pleasure to be here today to bring greetings from Jamaica Bauxite Mining Limited, JBM. You might be wondering, what is a bauxite company doing here at a Sustainability Cities Conference? Well, the ethos of our company is to rehabilitate, repurpose, and restructure. JBM is a self-funded government agency with a business mandate, and we are the custodian owners of 4,000 acres of land in the beautiful parish of St. Anne. Yes, we have a number of acreage of land that is underdeveloped, 1,200 of which sits on very high quality limestone, which will be upgraded. We have industrial assets, including Wells Spring and an industrial port, Reynolds Pier. One of the 4 factors of production is land, and as I mentioned, we have a lot of that. Sustainability is the ability to maintain a certain level of production for economic growth, with the avoidance of depletion of natural resources to maintain ecology balance. Therefore, there must be a continuous, purposeful strategy in which urban and rural developments are done to achieve economic sustainability. A pivotal role for public entities, by extension the government, is to do just that, to enhance and develop. That is our mantra at JBM. We are going to undertake a huge development in a rural city and make it sustainable. There is a symbiotic relationship between rural and urban development. While they are common inputs, holistic services, their environmental impact is completely different. They have different offerings, advantages and disadvantages and challenges. Traditionally, rural developments relied heavily on agriculture. However, in this ubiquitous digitalization, environmental technology, we have to embrace technology, especially in rural areas. This may be challenging, yes, connectivity, all of these challenges. However, if we come together with external providers, we can use technology for a spatial medium to drive change. JBM is doing this. We have undertaken a conceptualised development project on some of our land, and we are going to build 300,000 rentable spaces of a technology park. It will be delivering global services with an emphasis on the knowledge process outsourcing area. As you know, is highly resourceful on the technological segment. Embracing technology allows us to adequately respond to the resilience of and be defensible in the external environments of climate change, environmentally and operationally. JBM recognises the importance that education plays as a gateway for delivering this message of technology advances for sustainability. To this end, creating jobs, delivering these in rural areas is one of our driven goals, enabling social economic growth through sustainable development projects. As I close, I must take the time to applaud the University of West Indies and their partners for this absence in coordinating this conference. Technology transformation, driving change and sustainability in communities and cities. I'm indeed hopeful that with the scope of expertise that is here in this room today and in all the knowledge garnered over these 2 days, that we will be able to implement and learn a lot of these initiatives that will be put forward in driving forward to making Jamaica a place that we seek to do, make Jamaica a choice of place to work, do business and raise families.
Hope remains our guiding light. Resilience our battle cry. Stronger is the mission of our audacity. Bolder the promise and the light. Larger are the pillars we have become. Expanding confidence for the turn. Together we rise. Brighter and better. Together we overcome.
Videos, and I want to thank the speakers that came earlier. We heard in our final presenter saying that there's a symbiotic relationship between urban and rural development. And of course, she spoke about the importance of building resilience against natural hazards. We also look forward to that technology park that she says the Jamaica Bauxite Mining Limited will be putting in, because any form of development is there to the benefit of our people. So we want to thank you all. At this point in time, and for this segment of the program, we're going to receive remarks from some key persons. We will begin our remarks with Councillor Richard Vernon, Deputy Mayor of Montego Bay. And this will be followed by remarks from Mr. Tariq Ali, the IDB representative, Jamaica, and the General Manager of the Country Department, Caribbean. And we'll close out this segment with remarks from Ms. Joan Dennis, Senior Project Manager, the National Housing Trust. And I wish to say that IDB and the National Housing Trust are two of our major sponsors of this conference. So let us welcome Councillor Richard Vernon.
Thank you, Mrs. Doreen Prendergast, who is our moderator. Dr. Patrick Prendergast, Campus Director, University of the West Indies, Jamaica. Her Excellency, Mrs. Judith Slater, British High Commissioner to Jamaica. Professor Dale Webber, Principal of the University of the West Indies, Mono. Mrs. Joan Dennis, Senior Project Manager, NHT Developed Projects Unit. I see quite a number of our distinguished stakeholders from the Senate, the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce and Industry, quite a number of dignitaries here. So I will say, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening. And also my friends here from the media. Let me extend a warm welcome to the friendly city, the vibrant city of Montego Bay, for those who are visiting for the first time. His Worship the Mayor of Montego Bay and Chairman of the St. James Municipal Corporation, Councillor Leroy Williams, is unavoidably absent, and as his deputy, my essential role has been activated. As such, I am elated to be participating in this opening ceremony of the Caribbean Sustainable Cities Conference 2022, hosted by the University of the West Indies, Mona Western Campus. We are gathered here this evening because of a phenomenon we have come to accept as globalization. Around the world, our cities, large and small, are affected by the contradistinctions of development, a compelling trend that needs to be urgently managed. As such, we must respond, not just in conference, but in our actions, not just in policies, but in their implementation. We must respond to the climate change, coral bleaching, the widening socioeconomic disparity among and within our cities, and the decay of the infrastructure thereof. We must respond to the local implications of global seismic movement of capital, technology, the financial market, and equality. The globalization of our communities is a reality. Therefore, we must find initiatives like this one, very useful, timely, and necessary. Therefore, be reminded that while we think globally, we must act locally. Be reminded that as a country and as a region, there is no development lest it be mandated and implemented locally. This is why the role of the municipal corporation is imperative in the plan of action and in the actions of the development plan. The framework of local government, municipal corporations in particular, needs to be revised. Globalization is moving at a pace that will require local governments in developing countries to effectively reform, to localize the sustainable development goals, or they will have to be dissolved. Jamaica be no exception. The time has come to intensify discursive formation around sustainability via decentralization. Nonetheless, this much anticipated conference comes at a time when Jamaica and the rest of the world continue to take decisive steps to make their economies green and to create overall sustainability for everyone. The government has been making progress towards the sustainable local sustainable development goals and the urban sustainability plan for Montego Bay, in order to address the environmental, urban, and fiscal issues affecting the long-term sustainability of the city. As a city, we have made immense progress towards sustainability and the adoption to new and emerging technologies in our quest to make Montego Bay a smart city. For example, digitizing data collection in our local economic enhancement program. We have also digitized data to help with our monitoring and evaluation as we seek to localize our sustainable development goal. And very soon, persons will be able to use your cell phones to apply for an entertainment permit or to track their building applications. Since the devastation of sections of Montego Bay in 2017, when heavy showers lashed the city, the St. James Municipal Corporation has taken decisive steps to address some of the issues which came to the fore. Included in the mitigation efforts was a comprehensive national drainage study by the National Works Agency, which is now being completed as part of a national master plan to improve the drainage system across Montego Bay and in other areas of the country. Despite the social challenges to include crime and violence and even the negative impacts of COVID-19 since 2020, St. James is emerging in the age of globalism. From our airports to our freeport, from our farmlands to our seashores, we are transforming this municipality one sustainable development goal at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, a city's sustainability demands deep and committed partnerships among the public and private sectors, our citizens and universities. It is my view that only through private-public partnerships that Montego Bay can achieve its ultimate goal of becoming the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. Partnerships will address matters which concern the allocation of sufficient resources to implement environmentally sound production patterns, sustainable lifestyles, and a circular economy which fosters new business and job creation, particularly in the area of green technologies and environmental services. Adaptability and resilience, the technological information change and sustainability in communities and cities. This is a crucial part in the next generation for us Montegonians. This is why this initiative, spearheaded by Dr. Prendergast and his team, is so critical and timely, and I'm going to ask you to give them a round of applause. Congratulations and kudos to you and the team. Ladies and gentlemen, the St. James Municipal Corporation, as a local authority, will continue to foster and facilitate private sector participation and collaboration through various mechanisms which see industries adopting new and emerging technologies. I am positive that the presentations over the next 2 days will bring into sharp focus the importance of digital technology to innovation, not only in the private sector, but in the public, as well as primarily in face of the emergence of the global pandemic. Against this backdrop, it is anticipated that this event will definitely be a value-added experience for all participating stakeholders. So as we go into the next 2 days of presentations and discussions, I encourage everyone to remember, go green, go safe, go smart. God bless you, and may God bless Jamaica, land we love.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us at the UWI WJC Caribbean Sustainable Cities Conference 2022. It is good to be allies in this pursuit of sustainability. We all have our roles to play. The challenges are so diverse that we need each other's expertise and understanding if we are to make meaningful progress in addressing them. This is why the IDB did not hesitate to support this conference, and why for the last decade we have been involved in the annual Caribbean Urban Forum, also co-organized by UWI. We are happy to partner with you on this initiative. For more than 2 decades, there has been significant growth in the region's urban population, and we see this right here in Jamaica in towns, cities, and large urban settlements like Kingston, Portmore, Montego Bay, and others. The Inter-American Development Bank is of the view that the development prospects of Latin America and the Caribbean and how well we manage this urbanization process are indeed connected. Migration to cities and urbanization can and will bring increased consumption of natural resources and utilities, economic disparities, lack of social inclusion, and other challenges. This expansion is happening, and while it can cause negative effects, it can also bring immense opportunities for economic and human development. Therefore, we must ensure that it happens sustainably and in a way that can benefit all who live and do business in these areas. In Jamaica, the IDB is partnering with government and private sector for projects that promote improved energy management and increased access to sustainable sources. We are supporting the improvement of solid waste management, public health, the transport sector, and social transformation through the arts, creativity, and technology. Boosting the government's ability to provide access to public resources, improving waste management, developing green spaces to encourage healthier lifestyles. These are all methods we can use to create sustainable cities that are vibrant, productive, and healthy. Sustainability is a priority at the IDB. Therefore, we continue to contribute to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. Our active lending operations on rehabilitation of urban housing stock and urban revitalization in Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana, for example, directly contribute to building inclusive cities and communities. In 2020, we partnered with the government of Barbados on a 3-part policy-based programmatic operation on sustainable development that I believe is illustrative of the dynamics of sustainability and urban-rural interdependencies in small island states. Completed diagnostics and our plans developed under our Emerging and Sustainable Cities initiatives in Nassau, Port of Spain, and Montego Bay contribute to the development of similar operations elsewhere in the region. We are also proud that the recently opened Harmony Beach Park in Montego Bay was both conceptualized and designed under the IDB's ESCI. It is a beautiful and rare green space that is a stone's throw from the commercial area. Initiatives like these contribute to ensuring good health and well-being, as do our other attempts to promote walkability and cycling in urban areas throughout Latin America and the Caribbean. They are directly aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals and will contribute to a better future for all. In closing, I'd like to congratulate the organizers of this conference. As participants, let us understand the various perspectives and use these thoughts to collaborate and create new ideas that can build sustainable cities and a sustainable region.
Mayor of Montego Bay, His Worship Councillor Leroy Williams, Honorable Bishop Conrad Pitkin,
Custos of St. James, Her Excellency Judith Slater, British High Commissioner to Jamaica, Councillor Richard Vernon, Deputy Mayor of Montego Bay, Professor Dale Weber, Principal of UWI Mona, Dr. Patrick Prendergast, Chair Conference Planning Committee, sponsors and stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm here representing the Managing Director of the National Housing Trust. It is an honor to stand here on behalf of the sponsors of the 2022 Caribbean Sustainable Cities Conference to offer remarks. When companies such as the National Housing Trust and Inter-American Development Bank provide financial support initiatives, organizations, and events, we are aligning our brand to projects, programs that we believe are great representation of powerful socioeconomic tools that seek to improve spaces and are geared towards national and regional development. The Caribbean Sustainable Cities Conference is one such example and may be best described as a timely gathering of academics, policymakers, professionals, and students for a necessary and important conversation. Jamaica's mix of challenges and opportunities require a unique path to give us guidance towards our development goals. Most importantly, it requires the support of all the players with an interest in creating a sustainable environment. A forum like this allows for robust discussion on where we are along the path, creates an opportunity for dialogue on the best practices being employed and for decisions on the way forward. As a country, we continue to innovate towards solutions that leverage our shared interests and our relationships while drawing on insights from our past experiences and the experiences of others. Jamaica has absorbed the development goals and expressed them in the 2030 vision of Jamaica, which seeks to create Jamaica as a place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. This vision seeks out Jamaica where no one is left behind. While this vision speaks to Jamaica's goals, as a region, we can learn from each other as we take this collective journey towards a more sustainable environment. We must continue to work together to advance our development as we adopt and adapt as necessary good practices, develop partnerships for shared success. May our time here together over the next few days highlight our similarities and not our differences, align our visions and goals, and may we share our resources and experiences to the betterment of our individual countries and our collective Caribbean region. To the organizers of this conference, thank you for creating this forum. Supporting you in this venture was an easy decision. This conference is a monumental task to organize and execute. We, therefore, applaud you on such efforts that can only be achieved through collaboration and cooperation of entities such as ours, and with the spirit and passion of members of the University of the West Indies community. We are pleased to offer sponsorship to this conference as environmental sustainability, security, and technological transformation are indeed all marks step towards the achievement of a better Caribbean. To the other partners, Jamaica Social Investment Fund, Urban Development Corporation, National Water Commission, Port Authority of Jamaica, General Accident, Jamaica National Group, Grace Kennedy Foundation, Carbon Producers Jamaica, and FACE. Your sponsorship of students or series of special events, fora, and activities highlight your commitment towards a future where digital transformation is an equally inclusive part of the growth and sustainability of societies. Once again, I applaud all the sponsors and supporters at this event, especially IDB and the NHT, for taking the lead role to advance the prospect of achieving a sustainable future. I also wish to congratulate the University of the West Indies for organizing this event. For those who have traveled to Jamaica, please enjoy your stay and make sure you sample some of the sights, sounds, and tastes of our second city. I wish you a successful conference and look forward to the decisions that will emanate from this conference as we go green, safe, and go smart. Thank you.
Thank you, presenters. I noticed a thread in the presentations, the fact that cities must be managed. And the call by the St. James Municipal Corporation for decentralization. And of course, we look forward to the day when all your data will be digitized and we can go online and make an application for permits and other development approvals. So we look forward to that. And of course, urban revitalization is critical to the sustainability of our cities because it ensures inclusivity. All right, so we thank you all for your presentations. At this point in time, I wish to acknowledge the presence of Senator Janice Allen, the opposition spokesperson on tourism. Welcome. I'm going to make a little change in the program as well. We have with us Ms. Natalie Morris, JP, representing the Custos Rotolorum for the parish of St. James, the Honorable Bishop Conrad Pitkin, CD. And we have to invite our host to welcome us. So here she comes. After that, we will have a musical rendition to change the tempo in the room for some time. All right, thank you.
Our moderator, Mrs. Doreen Pendergast, Her Excellency Judith Slater, British High Commissioner to Jamaica, other distinguished guests, implementing partners, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I am here representing the Custos of St. James, who is unavoidably absent based on his commitment to another event. And I must say that representing someone and being stuck in rain and traffic is not a good feeling. And so it is really a pleasure for me to really stand here in his stead and try to give justice, to say to you, it's a blessing to see you all present. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you've traveled from, some of you from distant shores or from other parishes, it is an honor to welcome you on behalf of the citizens of St. James. I greet you on behalf of the Custos of St. James, and the words expressed are really from his sentiment. There's no place other than Montego Bay, St. James, for the committee to host the conference. And so I am indeed excited to know that Montego Bay was selected to host this conference. Therefore, it is really wonderful that you're all here gathering for this informative session. doing every possible move to save the environment and to look at sustainability says a lot. Therefore, this conference will allow you to look at cities within the Caribbean and the wider world as you reflect on your theme this year: adaptability and resilience, technological transformation, driving change and sustainability in communities, cities, highlighting the centrality of the digital sector to the innovative ways in which all the sectors of our cities and communities are adapting to the global impact of the COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, our cities are fast developing economically and socially. It is widely known that fast technological progress and the deepening of globalization have created opportunities for some people, but for some, profound challenges. It is a struggle, and still a struggle, for many persons to be engaged for work. However, we are in a time when our cities are plagued with crime and violence, which are requiring new levels of thinking and the application of new innovations to address this monster. There's a need to model and to enhance the process of building out technological architecture that keeps our cities and our communities and the people in line with the global trends, even though COVID-19 is still with us. It is Anna Antunes who says, we need to spread more seeds to fill this planet with love, to be surrounded by flowers everywhere. It starts by simply opening our hearts and our hands to one another. It is in simple things that true happiness do flourish. Let me hope that during this conference, you will have access to meeting your goals and objectives, and that for those who have traveled to Jamaica and out of city, please stay, make sure that you enjoy some of the sights, enjoy some of what the city has to offer, this beautiful city of Montego Bay. I hope that the experience here will be very positive for you, and that this event will be engraved in your memory as one that would have created some monumental change in your career. Once again, welcome to the conference and to the city of Montego Bay and the parish of St. James. God bless you.
Good evening. Check, check, check. Good evening, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here. You know, I believe in anything that has to do with the development of our country has to be something great. And we're looking forward to a land of love, right, for Jamaica. We're looking forward to a beautiful Jamaica. Boy, boy, boy, boy. So you can rock with me while we sing and enjoy, right? Oh, boy. There's a land that I have heard about so far across the sea. There's a land that I have heard about so far across the sea. to have you on my dreamland would be like heaven to me. To have you on my dreamland would be like heaven to me. Say we'll live together on that dreamland, and we'll have so much fun. Say we'll live together on that dreamland, and we'll have so much fun. So we say come, let us go to a land of love, where the love light shines so bright above. We will be so happy and free. Come with me and have no fear. We're gonna find that love is real. That love is real. Next track. Next track. So, hold on. So, as we are gonna do this one, we just want to say thank you for partnering with us, for staying with us, and for supporting us. Hey! We've been together for a while now, growing stronger every day now. Feels so good and there is no doubt I will stay with you. And as each morning brings the sunrise and the flowers bloom in springtime, all my love you can rely. And I'll stay, if you know it, sing with me. Oh, I will stay with you through the ups and the downs. Oh, I will stay with you when no one else is around. And when the dark clouds arise, I will stay by your side. And I know it'll be alright. And I'll stay with you. Woo-hoo. Whoa. And though relationships they get old and has the tendency to grow cold, but we've got something like a miracle. And I'll stay, sing it with me now. And I will stay with you through the ups and the downs. Oh, I will stay with you when no one else is around. And when the dark clouds arise, I will stay by your side. And I know it'll be alright. And I'll stay with you. Oh, yeah, yeah. And there'll be heartaches and pain. Whoa, but through it all, we will remain the same. And in this life, we both know friends they come and friends they go. But through the years, we know we will stay. And I know that we'll find love so beautiful and divine. And we'll be friends for a lifetime. And we'll stay with you. Oh, I will stay with you through the up. Let me see you wave for me. Come on. Say I will stay with you when no one else is around. And when the dark clouds arise, I will stay by your side. I know it'll be alright. And I'll stay. Say we'll be friends for a lifetime. We'll stay with you. And we'll be together for a lifetime, yeah. And we'll stay with you. Thank you.
if I could sing like him, I would ride the rhythm. But I don't want to change the vibe in the room. But he did an excellent rendition. Let us thank him for that. A very, very good rendition. I just wish to acknowledge the presence of Dr. David Steer, Custos Rotolorum of Hanover, and a member of the UMONA WJC family. Let us put our hands together and welcome him. At this point in time, we are going to invite Dr. Patrick Prendergast, the chair of the Conference Planning Committee and the architect behind this conference, to come and do an overview of the conference, and that will be followed by a short video presentation.
Hi, Commissioner, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all good evening. First of all, let me just say thank you very much to Chandre Cowan, our performer. Put your hands together for Chandre. Today we had another of our dreams fulfilled, and it was good. The initial conceptualization of this conference actually included a special day for students, just for our students from the high schools and particularly from the universities and colleges around. But as you would have heard, we decided not to execute that part of the first iteration of our GS2 conference because of COVID. Well, today we had a room filled with students from York Castle, from Malden High School, from Mount Alvernia, from Anchovy, from Denham Town, from communities of Augusttown, from UWI, and from UTech. Just under 50 students engaged in workshops with Discover Bay Marine Lab and the Department of Computing, and it was fabulous. It was engaging. And for all of us, actually, and especially the students, a real delightful experience. What a wonderful way, I thought, to kickstart the second biennial Caribbean Sustainable Cities Conference 2022. Another moment of pride I want to mention is when the representative of JSIF, Mona Hosu, sometimes I call her Suho, and it is Suho. Did she just say Suho? Yes, there we go. Sometimes I say Hosu when it's supposed to be Suho. But Mona said that when we decided to do the conference in 2020, of course, as you all heard, it was a time when nobody thought any such thing was possible. But we at UMONA WJC took a bold step and executed a class event. So there was no way that we're doing a second round and she was going to miss it. So I want to thank all of you who really and truly share that same compliment and sentiment and welcome you here this year for GS2 2022. Thank you so very much. The truth is that without you, the speakers, presenters, sponsors, participants, we would have no conference. This would merely be an idea. So as you would have heard, the Caribbean Sustainable Cities Conference, Go Green, Go Safe, Go Smart, GS2 for short, is being held in the city of Montego Bay, Jamaica, in November 2022. I keep saying we had 2 years to put this together. Then we had a year. Then we started counting in months. Then we started counting in weeks. And then we got down to days. And today we're here. So what will unfold in this conference over the next couple of days, having completed a successful first day? Let me just quickly share with you. And when I say quickly, I really mean quickly. The conference is structured in such a way where we build it around the three thematic areas: environmental sustainability, technological transformation, safety, security, and inclusivity. And essentially, what we'll see is that tomorrow morning we'll kickstart with our first area, adaptability and resilience, the GS2 agenda in education. And I'm happy to say that the University of the West Indies will share what's been happening through our principal. And we'll also hear how, for example, we are building out the climate resilient Caribbean cities through enhanced urban planning knowledge from the University of Technology. So as you can see, from the get-go, it will be a collaborative effort sharing with our universities. And as you look at the program, you'll see a little bit more on that. The second plenary will be probably our shortest plenary, and it's going to take the form of what we call an international forum. Here we're going to be reflecting on the increasing demand for smart city technology and solutions, the increased urbanization that's taking place, and how our leaders and managers of city development across the Caribbean apply digital technology to accelerate progress towards overall health and well-being, drawing on some experiences from across the globe. So it is an international forum because we'll have the ambassador of Japan sitting here with us. We'll have the deputy head of mission for the Embassy of Spain sharing with us, and we'll have an international partner through the UNDP Caribbean, as well as one of our own lecturers looking at how all that's happening, if there is some kind of understanding that we need to develop through behavioral economics. That's going to be very interesting. But we're going to have some breakout sessions as well, and they'll run concurrently. These sessions will last somewhere between 75 and 90 minutes. And we're looking forward to hearing from others in our university spaces and institutions across the globe. We have representatives from the University of East London. We have representatives from Northern Illinois University. Welcome, Dr. Shelton. I see you. We have the UDC sharing some of what's happening within the spaces as we look at the social and economic nexus between urban and rural development and the implications for infrastructure and technological transformation. On Friday morning, we will have our final plenary session, and that will be led by I will love to say, the man from the city of Montego Bay, Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility in Western Jamaica, Honorable Homer Davis. He will basically give us a sense of what's happening in terms of how we link the big projects with the urban spaces and the rural communities. And of course, we're going to be looking at what it actually means to define, and in some instances, redefine the social, economic, and environmental and institutional resilience that we've been talking about. So, we'll have a presentation that I'm so looking forward to in sickness or in health from community policing and citizen engagement. We're looking at how, for example, the communities have been using the technologies for economic enterprise. And we're looking at how we've applied the technologies to auditing violence in vulnerable communities. So you can see that it's going to be a wide range of topics, but basically framed around these three broad thematic areas. Then we're going to have our closing session, and that closing session on Friday afternoon will really be a celebration of the planners and the work that they are doing in advancing the sustainable agenda within our communities and cities. So the Jamaica Institute of Planners and the St. James Municipal Corporation are partnering on making sure that we have a real interesting closing session. And the final activity on Friday afternoon, right after that closing session, we will tell you a little bit about the future as we see it, and of course, foreshadow GS2 2024. Thank you very much for coming, and we look forward to a real engaging couple of days.
Let us put our hands together and thank Dr. Prendergast for that very comprehensive overview. And I just wish to say to you that the workshop this morning with the students, the key sponsors were Jamaica National, the Jane Group, and Jamaica Bauxite Mining Limited. We have some student sponsors, but they were the key sponsors for the workshop. So we want to thank them for their contribution. Now, as we are about 4/5 of the programs so far, and we're at a point in the program when we're going to be, I'm about to introduce the keynote speaker for this evening. Judith Slater arrived in Kingston to take up her role as British High Commissioner to Jamaica on the 22nd of September, my birthday. Prior to this role, Judith was British Consul General to Istanbul and Her Majesty's Trade Commissioner for Eastern Europe and Central Asia, covering 14 countries. She carried out this role from 2016 until July 2021. Her previous posts include Deputy High Commissioner and Southeast Asia Regional Director of Trade and Investment in Singapore from 2011 to 2015, Deputy High Commissioner in Pretoria, South Africa from 2007 to 2011, and British Consul General in Houston, Texas from 2004 to 2007. In the FCO in London, and she will tell you what that means, Judith's posts have included Private Secretary to the Minister of State responsible for relations with Asia and Head of Nuclear Policy Section in the Non-Proliferation Department. She has also had overseas postings in New Delhi and Canberra. Judith has a law degree from St. John's College, Cambridge. She's married to Philip, and Philip is here with her today, a recruitment consultant, and they have 2 university-age children who are studying in the UK. In her spare time, she enjoys golf, tennis, jogging, cinema, and supporting Stoke City FC, not Manchester United. We now would like you to put your hands together and welcome Judith Slater.
Dr. Prendergast, I think I'm going to adopt the British tradition of saying all protocol observed, because we've all heard everybody's names multiple times, so I'm sure you welcome it if I just say, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening. Before I forget, FCO is the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, but it is now no longer, it is now the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, because a couple of years ago we merged with what was the Department for International Development, so it's now the FCDO. And also, before I forget, Stoke City Football Club are a very distinguished football club that was founded in 1863, and I can tell a true football supporter from a not true football supporter if they know anything about Stoke City, and your very own Ricardo Fuller is Stoke City's top goal scorer and has just been appointed as an assistant coach to Stoke City. So we're looking forward to Stoke City having a very more successful season than they've been managing so far since his recent appointment. But back to the topic in hand. It's a privilege to be here speaking to you tonight, and I'm very conscious that I think I'm the last person standing between you and a drink outside. So I have been busily scribbling through and crossing out some of this speech to keep it nice and short and sweet, hopefully. But there are some important points which I do want to make on this very, very significant and serious topic of the conference, sustainable cities. I can't but mark the coincidence of timing of this conference and the COP27 conference, which is going on right now in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. The UK has for long been a very active and committed participant in the COP process. And indeed, we hosted COP26 in Glasgow last winter, where participants could have been forgiven, perhaps, for having the odd doubt about whether global warming was actually happening, given Scotland's rather chilly climate. But joking apart, at that meeting, the Glasgow Climate Pact was signed, giving the world the tools to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees, if everyone plays their part. Jamaica is certainly playing its part. Jamaica co-chaired the nationally determined commitments, or NDC partnership with the UK through COP26 right through to now at COP27, for which we are very grateful. And this underscored Jamaica's own commitment to combating climate change. And as COP approaches its conclusion in Sharm el-Sheikh, it's timely that we are here participating in this conference on sustainable cities in this small island developing state. And as you know, small island developing states are among the most vulnerable to climate change. So this conversation that we're going to be having over the next couple of days is exactly the kind of conversation that needs to happen if some of these small island developing states are not to disappear altogether. One thinks of the Marshall Islands and some of the other Pacific islands, which are even more vulnerable perhaps than Jamaica. And the plight that they are in if we don't come to their help. And as speaker after speaker at COPs over the last many years have spelt out, the planet is in trouble. We all have a responsibility to keep 1.5 alive, as was the slogan last year at COP26. Sustainable cities as a goal show up as goal number 11 among the SDGs, as we just saw on the screen. The objective is to overcome the challenges of urbanization in ways that allow cities and communities to become clean hubs of opportunities for all, with access to basic services, energy, housing, and transportation. When you look into global progress on this SDG, you find that we're actually not quite sure how well we're doing. There's been some progress, and the COVID-19 pandemic has forced some rethinking. But overall, we're still trying to figure out exactly what is happening and where. And even the global list of sustainable cities is an intriguing collection, spanning all the continents of the world, but each with its own unique characteristics. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. It means that there's no single blueprint or model to follow. What is important is that cities look at their defining characteristics, such as population, resources, topography, and history, in order to create a unique path to sustainable development. And this is exactly what cities in this region need to do, to look at your reality, to decide what your cities need, to look at your options and pursue them as if your lives depend on it, because in fact they do. Bristol and London in the UK are often numbered among the most sustainable cities in the world. They're very eco-friendly with lots of green spaces, pretty good air quality, though there are some challenges there. And with London rushing to transition all 9,200 of its red buses to electric versions in the next 15 years. Every major urban centre in the UK, in fact, struggles with adequate accommodation, and now how to shift our energy needs and supply to renewables. There's often a distinction made between sustainable cities and smart cities, and those who do make that distinction define the former as focusing on the environment and building in such a way as to limit the environmental impacts. They would then define smart cities as improving the operations of the location through the use of technology. And of course, these two are not mutually exclusive. We can have smart and sustainable cities. And as was mentioned, I spent 4 years in Singapore, which is one of the smartest cities in the world, and indeed is exporting that smartness across the border to China and to other places as well. It makes a big deal out of selling its expertise on that particularly small peninsula it occupies. So my understanding is that even though this conference is titled the Sustainable Cities Conference, the focus, as Dr. Prendergast just told us, will be on technological transformation and digitalization and how this links to service delivery. The UK launched a Smart Sustainable Cities project back in 2018, which brings together selected European and UK cities to showcase best practice and provide opportunities for knowledge sharing and networking. The objective is to raise climate ambition and promote effective implementation of city-level projects in resilience and nature-based solutions, the circular economy, and sustainable transport. Through building stronger bilateral links city to city, councils are able to collaborate and learn from each other's experiences. So cities from Denmark, the UK, Spain, Sweden and Slovakia have collaborated across a range of areas. And indeed, my last job in Istanbul, the mayor there, Ekrem İmamoğlu, is doing an awful lot to make Istanbul greener. And we, when I was there, were working together with him with companies like Arup, which you may have heard of, who were very, very good in this particular field. So if I were to do a word cloud of areas of cross-learning, we would see topics such as energy efficiency in buildings, common ticketing systems, e-mobility in transport, data management and the data-driven economy, smart grids, smart electricity, renewable energy, and the circular economy, which we know is about recycling and reusing the value of products and resources for as long as it's possible. Whilst this has had a European-focused approach, it's always easier to start with those places which you share common characteristics with, such as geography, climate, government structures. But this project has enabled the sharing of innovative solutions with other cities. So is there something there the Caribbean could learn from? Could Bridgetown and Kingston share best practices on wind farms? Are there lessons that Dominica and Guyana could share on the circular economy? Of course, there are economic opportunities embedded in these transitions also. Jobs can be created and businesses grow. One challenge I would point up to leaders in this region is how to ensure that people are trained up for a sustainable, smart region. New skill sets will be required, so you have mechanics who can fix electric vehicles and architects who design energy-efficient buildings. Jamaica will need lots of IT skills to deliver and use public services. You'll need regulations and standards you may never have bothered about before. The pandemic forced some of that upon us, but there is a deliberate path which must be taken towards using technology to improve educational, health, social, and economic outcomes. I'd also like to flag the C40 group, which is a network of mayors of nearly 100 leading cities across the world, collaborating to deliver urgent climate action. Denver is one such city, and when I was in Houston, I was also responsible for UK relations with that part of the US, and Denver was making huge strides as part of that C40 group. Their mission is to halve the emissions of the member cities of the C40 within a decade, while improving equity, building resilience, and creating the conditions for everyone, everywhere to thrive. C40's most distinguishing feature is that membership is earned through meeting performance-based requirements, not membership fees. And another key objective of the C40 group is the global Green New Deal. The mayors are working alongside a broad coalition of representatives to deliver climate justice and stronger economies that serve everyone. So could Montego Bay or Kingston perhaps join that group, I wonder? A few years ago, the Caribbean Community Centre for Climate Change, the 5 Cs, wrote a blog on 4 ways in which Jamaica might green its cities. They listed the 4 ways were: 1, implement a proper water management system; 2, create an efficient public transportation system; 3, increase the use of solar and other renewable energy sources; and 4, prioritize the construction of green buildings, as they will obviously use less energy. And these ideas remain very relevant today. The UK government has also been supporting a number of resilience initiatives designed to strengthen infrastructure here in the Caribbean. For example, we've been retrofitting health facilities across the region, with 14 of those facilities in Jamaica under the Smart Hospital programme. Of the £43.8 million spent in 7 countries, Jamaica receives the single largest share of 8.5 million. And I was pleased to open the one in St. Anne a few months back. The initiative aims to provide safer, greener health facilities that can better withstand climate change impacts, support delivery of care in disasters, reduce disaster losses, and generate operational savings. We're also supporting infrastructure resilience work in the agriculture sector and strengthening some of the regional disaster response systems. And the infrastructure resilience work in the agriculture sector is something into which we're putting over £50 million here in Jamaica. We at the UK are also funding through the IDB a project to restore mangrove ecosystems in southern Clarendon. And some of the many benefits of restoring the mangroves, as I'm sure you will know, include carbon sequestration, disaster resilience, and many other benefits. And of course, also the aesthetic pleasure of seeing the mangroves growing back again. And this project is worth 360 million Jamaican dollars, and it's being implemented by UE. So it's UE, IDB, and the UK all working together, some of the partners of this very conference. The UK's also established a SIDS, so the Small Island Developing States, the SIDS hub, because we want to offer targeted support that will unlock financing and technical assistance for the specific needs of SIDS. We acknowledge that SIDS will need support which takes account of their specific situations, and that's what we're offering under the SIDS Development and Resilience, or CEDAR, programme. Over the next 4 years, the UK has committed £40 million to the Caribbean and Pacific regions. Of course, you can't build new cities with £40 million, but that money does go a very long way in helping Caribbean and Pacific countries to remove some of the bottlenecks to capital investments on climate action. The UK is now setting up a suite of new UK centres of expertise on green cities and infrastructure to the tune of around £120 million. These centres will work with private and multilateral partners to develop and implement low-carbon, high-quality, resilient infrastructure and well-functioning green cities for economic and human development. Initial areas of focus will include financial services, green infrastructure, public finance, trade, and green and inclusive growth. The UK does have a legacy of successful programmes, excellent partnerships, and a willingness to play an integral part in saving our planet, and we're going to build on this over the next few years across a range of sectors. We look across the Caribbean region and we see cities which require urgent action on infrastructure, systems, and people. These remain key components of the UK's support to this region, but we can only support Caribbean countries to implement their priorities. So what should be the next move? There's a step change that's required to address the poor planning, inadequate governments, and environmental damage that can lock cities into dysfunctional existence. While we don't have a fixed model for a smart, sustainable city, there are enough experiences from elsewhere on which we can draw. It may not be that Kingston or Montego Bay want to become Copenhagen or Reykjavik, but you could be aiming for your own smart, sustainable model. In fact, all Jamaica's urban centres will face urbanisation pressures as long as rural populations go in search of jobs in cities. So in closing, I just want us to think again a little bit about the vitally important conference, COP27, which is taking place in another beautiful seaside resort, Sharm el-Sheikh. And let us hope that the countries there heed the calls of the co-chairs of the NDC partnership, the UK and Jamaica, i.e. Alok Sharma on the UK side and your very own Matthew Samuda on the Jamaican side, to raise their ambitions and to try to keep 1.5 alive, or as we heard earlier, to find their bold. The UK stands ready to continue to support Jamaica along its path to sustainability, and I look forward to participating in this conference. Thank you once again for giving me the honour of making this opening speech, and I look forward to mingling with you shortly over a drink. So thanks very much.
We're going to invite Ms. Sandra Stubbs to come and do a presentation to Her Excellency.
Excellency, on behalf of the JS2 Sustainable Cities Conference Planning Committee, I want to thank you for being our keynote speaker, for sharing your experience and the recognition that, yes, we need to keep it below 1.5 if the vulnerable SIDS are to survive. Thank you for underscoring the need for collaboration and for the new skill sets and all the plans that you've outlined that's happening through the UK government. We really appreciate you. Please accept this token from us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your wonderful presentation. Let us put our hands together again and thank her. You know, I never realized that the UK was doing so much in our region. Of course, we all stand to benefit. She spoke about the health facilities, she spoke about what they're doing in agriculture in terms of mangrove restoration, and I'm sure Professor Weber was very happy to hear about the mangrove restoration, because UAE is integral to that. So, you know, we might just have to make her a permanent citizen here in Jamaica. But we want to thank you. Thank you once again for your presentation. Now we're at that point in the program. I know many of you would have sat for quite a while listening to us speak, and you don't want to hear any more speaking. So I'm going to quickly go through the vote of thanks, and then thereafter, we invite you to look at the tabletop exhibition outside and to enjoy the cocktail as you mingle. So let me just quickly go through the vote of thanks. We want to thank Ms. Natalie Morris, JP, for welcoming us to St. James. We also would like to thank Professor Dale Weber for not leaving his child out here all alone in the UA Mona WJC, but coming with his usual strong support to ensure that this conference goes well. We want to thank Ms. Donna Howe from the Jamaica Bauxite Mining Limited. You're doing some real innovative work, and you know, you have caused us to look at bauxite in a different light, not just in terms of destroying the environment, but seeing the beauty that can come from restoration. We want to thank Councillor Richard Vernon. You know, youth in the St. James Municipal Corporation is a good thing. It's a good thing. It brings vision and insight. So we want to thank you. I want to thank Mr. Tariq Ali from the IDB. To Jamaica, you know, IDB has been with us from the outset, and we are truly grateful for them remaining with us, even though they're not here in the physical, they're online. We are truly grateful. I want to thank Ms. Joan Dennis. The National Housing Trust was here, you know, with us right in the middle of the COVID last time when we were having a really good conference. I want to thank the National Housing Trust for believing in what we are doing here and continuing to give us support. I want to also thank Sandre Cowan for the beautiful rendition, "There's a land that I I've heard about." So I want to thank you. Want to thank him for his beautiful rendition, and it sure helped to wake us up somewhat from all the talking. Thanks again to Dr. Patrick Prendergast, the conference chairman, for all that he's doing. He loves the city of Montego Bay. You think he's from Montego Bay. He loves this place, and he will do what he can to ensure that the city is much better for it. So I want to thank him for giving us that overview. And of course, Our Excellency Judith Slater, your keynote address was beautiful that you located it within the context of what is happening at the COPs. And, for highlighting all the wonderful work you're doing in Jamaica and in small island developing states. And this is the sort of support we need as vulnerable countries and vulnerable nations to help us to be better. So we thank you. We also would like to thank, she is the last person there, but I have some other thank yous to do with the sponsors. We can't leave out the sponsors. So we want to thank the Inter-American Development Bank and the National Housing Trust, who are our major sponsors. We want to thank General Accident, the Urban Development Corporation. We also would like to thank the Jamaica National Group. Well, as I mentioned earlier, they, along with the Jamaica Bauxite Mining Limited, we want to thank you for sponsoring the Students' Workshop. And we want to thank the St. James Municipal Corporation as well for giving us the usual support over the two conferences that we have had. And Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF. JSIF is in touch with the communities, and it is evident that they have a true, strong relationship with the community, and we welcome that aspect into the conference. The Grace Kennedy Foundation, and they are celebrating 40 years. The National Water Commission, and the National Water Commission has its representative here, and the Port Authority of Jamaica. We want to thank you for your support. We also want to thank Facey Commodity Limited, VM Building Society, Jamaica Broilers, Caribbean Producers Jamaica Limited. So we thank you all in terms of your sponsorship for this conference. Of course, we can't leave out the media, because the media is what gets what we are doing out there. And the media gets what we are doing out there. And so we want to thank the media for showing up and giving us the support. And we look forward to the reports that will come out of this conference. Also, we want to thank the Conference Planning Committee. There are so many members. I see Mrs. Geddes over there. Some of them are outside, so some sitting in the audience. I'm not going to name everybody, but I want to thank the hard-working Conference Planning Committee, the MITS team around the back. They are the ones who deal with the technology, and they are the ones, because this conference is a hybrid conference, they are the ones who will ensure that our conference goes seamlessly and that we'll have really good participation in terms of persons online. Last year, 2020, it was amazing to see the quality technology that we had in use, that the persons that were online, it was as though they were in the room with us, and we expect a similar situation this conference. And we want to thank the hotel for, accommodating us. Yes, as usual. This was where we had the conference the last time, and we want to thank them again. And I want to thank the UEMONA WJC staff that are present here, all that came out to give Dr. Prendergast and the team a strong support. I want to thank you all for coming. You know, thank you and God bless you. Now you can go and mingle. And based on what we have heard and what we anticipate in the conference, we'll not be singing There's a Land That I Have Heard About, but we will experience that. A really good land, a really good place called Jamaica for all of us to live, grow, work, raise families, and do business. Thank you very much. Oh, I did mention Sandre. I did mention. Okay, he's gonna come back. Okay. Sandre, we welcome you back on stage to nice up the place. Come, Sandre.
All right. Check, check, check. Check. All right. Little more volume. All right, so we're going to rock on. We're going to enjoy ourselves as we go out for a drink. And we enjoy ourselves, right? And it was such an insightful. We can't say that we can leave here and not carry something. Something to help to develop, you know, our country. So we do appreciate all the speakers. Woo. Whoa, whoa, whoa, Jiminy. Hey DJ, can you play that song and set the mood for me to hold a different energy? I'm loving how the music sounds. You see the woman, then we are free, yeah, yeah, yeah. Give me a little one drop. Make the bassline roll and catch. And me love how the people them are rock. Whoa, whoa, whoa, boy. Give me a little one drop. I make the bassline roll and catch. I make we couple up and double up and whole of vibes non-stop. Yo, me love it, me love it. Me love the juggling, all the 1 foot man a dance. Do not troubling, good vibes in the place, nobody grudging. Boy, yo, yo, yo. Long time we no feel like this, we free like this. Feel so fresh, oh yes, oh yes. And give me a little one drop. I make the bassline roll and send me love how the people them a rock, a rock. Give me a little one drop. I make the bassline roll and catch. I make we couple up and whole of vibes non-stop. I just the drum and the bassline. You have it, oh yo, oh yo yo, and it make one stop for one drop of your love. Oh yo, give me lyrics, give me the words and the melody to sing it. Feel one stop for one drop. Wanna say, give me a little one drop. I make the bassline roll and chop. Say me love how the people them are rock. People are rock. Give me a little one drop. Make the bassline roll and chop. And we couple up, yeah, yeah. Give me a little one. Give me a little. And give me a little. And give me a little. Whoa, yo, yo, yo, yo, yo. I see you Indira. Say Indira a rock. Give me a little one drop, yeah. Make the bassline. Say we just a couple up and double up and whole our vibes don't stop, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yo, oh. Whoop, whoop, boy. I call this the WJC song. Woo! Anybody know WJC sweet? Here we go. Why? Says skanking, grooving. Hallelujah. Skanking, grooving, yeah. Under pressure. Skanking, grooving, oh, oh. Ooh. Skanking, grooving. Ooh. Under the pressures of life and the tough. No stay down, mama, time pick it up. No bother with it down full style. Strictly up full vibes, yeah. When the bills and the rent, the mortgage due. When your best friends are gone, and it's only you. Says skanking sweet. Everybody wanna feel Irie. Forget your troubles and rock with me. You know COWJC sweet, yeah, yeah. Skanking sweet. Everybody wanna feel Irie. Forget your troubles and rock with me. You know COWJC sweet. Why? For every pain there's a melody. For every trouble there's a harmony that brings us together. Come make we rock it forever. And who said life no hard? And everybody got their struggles. I'm begging you help me, Lord, to overcome my trouble. WJC sweet. And everybody wanna feel Irie. Forget your troubles and rock with me. You know see your reggae music sweet. Yeah, yeah. Skanking sweet. Everybody wanna feel Irie. Forget your troubles and rock with me. You know see your reggae music sweet. We're skanking till a morning, Lord, until the day when our troubles are gone. We're grooving in a Jaja name. We're grooving all our troubles away. Skanking sweet. Everybody wanna feel Irie. Forget your troubles and rock with me. You know COWJC sweet. Yeah, yeah. Skanking sweet. Everybody wanna feel Irie. Forget your troubles and rock with me. You know see your reggae music sweet. Yeah, yeah. A skanking sweet. Everybody feeling Irie. Forget your troubles and rock with me. You know COWJC sweet. Yeah, yeah. A skanking sweet. Everybody wanna feel. Forget your troubles and rock with me. You know see your reggae music sweet. Yeah, yeah. Skanking sweet. Everybody wanna feel Irie. Forget your troubles and rock with me. You know see your reggae music sweet. Oh, skanking. Enjoy yourself, guys. Have a wonderful night.